Welcome to CS 101. We are working on our access section now. We are going to start project 1A. Read over objective 1, and we're going to start with objective 2. We're going to start our access. We're going to click blank database, browse. You're going to locate your flash drive. You're going to create a folder called access, and you're going to call it last name, first name, 1A advertising. Click OK. Click create, and you should have a blank document. We're going to close the navigation pane here on the side, and my access is not compatible with my recording program, so I'm going to slightly do this a little bit different. It wants you to do this in the Datasheet View. What you would do is you would double click here. You're going to click short text and you would input your information. However, I'm going to click to design view, and it wants us to name the first table. Let me see. Oh, and that's a few pages ahead, so I'm just going to name it table 1 for now and click OK. We're going to come here to field 1, and we're going to call it last name. And then we're going to go first name. Press enter. And it should be short text as well. And we'll come under there. We should have middle initial. Tab over should be short text. And next we're going to go address. City, state, and postal code. Phone, email, and faculty, advisor, ID, and amount owed. Amount owed should be listed as currency, and the rest is short text. Now we can switch back over to our Datasheet view, and we'll want to save the table. And of course it should look like it does across the top here. Unfortunately, I cannot zoom in with this program. Okay. We're going to click anywhere in text ID. And we should be able to go up to table tools. See it listed here across the top. And in the fields tab, in the properties group here, we're going to click name and caption. And we're going to enter in the field properties, student ID. Okay, we're going to click OK, and it should have adjusted the first one. We're going to click the data type arrow, which is over here, and we should make it short text. I'm going to come over here to display the insertion point, and we're going to type in 1023045 and press enter. And the last name is Fresh. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Then you can hit enter again. It moves you across. First name is Jenna. Press enter. Middle initials A. Press enter. And it's going to be 7550 Douglas Lane. Press enter. It's alright if you don't see the entire thing displayed. And she is in Austin, Texas at 78749. And the phone number, don't forget the parentheses, is 512 555 0857. Email is jfresh@tlcc.edu. And the faculty ID FAC tag 2289. And we're going to press enter, and the amount owed is $250. I'm going to press enter, and it creates a new row. We're going to come up here and click the save button. Alrighty. And now it's going to tell us to name our table. If you did it all on this screen the first time, it'll pop up a dialog box. If you followed along with me, we're going to right click, click rename. Okay, we're going to have to close the X here. We're going to right click, rename, and we're going to call it last name. Wow, I can't even spell my own name today. First name, 1A students. And press enter. And we're going to double click on it, and it brings it back up. For everyone else, if you followed along step by step, it would have just asked for you to save it. Click OK. We'll notice that the object tab is right here. Okay, so we're going to click in the student ID field here, and we are going to enter in the information from page 497, and let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Ingram, Joey, S, 621, Hilltop Drive, Meander, okay, Texas, 78646. And phone is 512 555. Tag 0717. Enter J. Ingram at tlcc.edu. Enter FAC tag 2377. Enter 378.5. Enter. Okay, 345669. Schneider. Amanda J. 4786 Bluff Street. Enter. Buddha. I know I butchered that one. Texas 78610 512 555 tag 9120 enter A Snyder at tlcc.edu enter FAC tag 9005 enter 0 press enter again. I'm going to click save. In the upper right corner we're going to click the X to close that, and we'll notice next we're going to go up to the ribbon here and we're going to click external data, in the import and link group we're going to click Excel, and it should bring up this pretty little box for you. We're going to click browse. We're going to navigate to our flash drive. You should have downloaded your student data files for Access Chapter 1 from offline. You're going to navigate to your student data files. You're going to go to Access Chapter 1, and you're going to open 0A1 students. Click open. Okay. And we're going to get the external and file open, navigate, amend a copy. We're going to select this right here. We're going to make sure it's 1A students. We're going to click OK. We're going to press escape to and press escape to cancel the list. And somehow I don't think that's what I wanted to do. Let me do that again. Okay, append a copy. We're gonna click browse. 1A students. We're gonna click OK. Click OK again. We're gonna click next. And we're going to click finish. We're going to click close. So let's open it up. And you should have 25 records. You wrote in 2 of them on your own. And we click finish. Okay. We're gonna make sure the navigation pane's open, and we got it all. So we can close up the navigation pane, and you should see this. Okay. We entered 3, imported 22. So we are now on page 500 in our book with objective 3. We're going to delete the middle initial field. We're going to come to the home. Click here. We're going to come to the home tab. And we're going to go to the view. We're going to click design view. It should bring us back to this here. And under the field column to the left of the middle initial, which is here, we're going to click this. And come up to table tools and design where it says delete row. We're going to click delete. We're going to say yes. Okay. We're going to come up here to student ID. Where it's down here. Whoops. On student ID, you should see the key here. We're going to come all the way down to the bottom where it says field size, and we're going to type in 7. Press enter. And for the description, we're going to come up here and type in 7-digit student ID number and press enter. Now we're going to come to state. We're going to change it to a 2 down at the bottom. We're going to come up here to description and write in 2 character ID, or excuse me, 2 character state abbreviation. Press enter. Now we're going to go down to the faculty ID number and we're going to type in 8. Press enter and then come up to the description here on the side. And we're going to type in 8 character ID of instructor assigned as advisor. And we're going to press enter. We're going to come up here and we're going to click save real quick. We're going to click yes. I come up here to the student ID, and you can see, of course, that it has a key to the left of it. That means it is the primary key field. I'm going to come up, click View, and we're going to go back to Datasheet View. We're going to click on the external data. We're going to go to the Import and Link group. We're going to get external data. We're going to click the Excel spreadsheet again, and we're going to browse to 1A faculty advisors on your flash drive. I'm going to click open. Make sure the first one's selected, and we're going to click OK. We're going to click next. Make sure the first row contains column headings. We're going to click next. And let's see. Field options. Data type. I'm going to click next. Choose my own primary key. We're going to make sure faculty ID shows. We're going to click next again, and we're going to name the table last name, first name, 1A faculty advisors, and click finish. We're going to close. Now when you click over here, you should see another one. We're going to double click the faculty advisors, and it should open up another tab here. So you should have your 1A students and your 1A faculty advisors. We're going to click the postal field. We're going to come to the table, tools, fields. We're going to click the data type. and change it to short text. We're going to come to our 1A. We're going to come to the right of our address and show this little bitty button here. And we're going to double click. And it changes the... Do this for every column. Okay. It ensures that the best fit. Okay. We're going to go to Home tab. In the Records group, we're going to click More. We're going to click Nope, we're good. Yep, we're good. Everything's the way it should be. We're going to click Save. We're going to go to the File tab. We're going to click Print. We're going to print Preview. And as you can see, zoom in, zoom out, go through multiple pages if necessary, down at the bottom. Of course, there is the zoom button up top. You can view both pages at once. You can just zoom in. We want to go to the Layout group and click Margins. And we're going to, well, first we're going to make sure it's on Landscape. And next we can close the Print Preview, and we're going to close our 1A Students table. You should just now have 1A Faculty Advisors available. We're going to click the Faculty ID column. We're going to select all, which is what I've done. Right there. Select all. In the Home tab, in the Records group, we're going to click More. We're going to find it does not have field width. Interesting. We're going to click right here in between each one. And it looked like it adjusted automatically for each one already. Okay, we're good to go there. Look here. Phone number. Click anywhere. We'll come up here. Cell number. Email. There we go. Everything's visible and we're good to go. Next we're going to come up to File. Click Print. Print Preview. Make sure we're still on Landscape. We're going to click Margins. You're going to click Normal. And we're going to close the print preview. And we're going to close this. I'm going to say yes. And there should be a blank section here. Our next step is we're going to come up to the ribbon. I'm going to click Create. I'm going to go to the Queries group. And we're going to click the Query Wizard. I'm going to do a simple. And click OK. Next, we're going to make sure it's Table 1A Students. So under Available Fields, we're going to double click the last name, first name, email, phone, and student ID in that order. We're going to click Next, and for the title, it should be 1A All Students. Query. We're going to click Finish, and it will have entered in 25 entries with just the information you have asked for. If you notice on the left, you have tables. Now you have a list called Queries. And we're going to click Save. We're going to go to the File tab, Print Preview, and it should print as one page. So we're going to close it. Make sure the navigation pane is open. We're going to come over here to 1A Students and right click. I'm going to click on Open. And now we're going to close the navigation pane. And so we should have 11 fields, which is correct. We're going to come up to the Create tab. And in the Forms group, we're going to click Form, which brings up this box here. I'm going to click to Layout View, which is what we are in. And then the status bar, we're going to click Form View. Make sure this is active. We're going to come over to the next record twice. So we should be on record 3, which is Joey Ingram. We're going to come up and click Save. And it's going to want us to call it 1A Student Form. And click OK. And then go to File, Print Preview. Under Page Setup, we're going to click Interesting. Let me close that out. We're going to go to File, Print Preview, and Page Setup. I'm going to click Columns, and under Column Size, double click the width box, and type in 7.5. And you're going to click OK. Then you can close Print Preview. And we can close this form, which should leave 1A open. We're going to open the navigation pane and open the faculty advisors. Close the pane. I'm going to click the create. I'm going to click on report. In the report, click the faculty ID name. And then on the ribbon under report layout tools, we're going to click the arrange tab. And rows and column group. I'm going to select column. And we're going to press delete. And we're going to come over here to rank. I'm going to select column, press delete. I'm going to select the address. And by using the scroll bar at the bottom of the screen, we're going to display all the way over to cell phone. We're going to hold down shift and click cell phone. We're going to click select column. It should select all of those. And we're going to press delete. I'm going to scroll back over. We're going to click on the campus field name. Hold shift down and click on first name. It should highlight last name as well. We're going to come over to the design. I'm going to click property sheet, which should open it on the right. I'm going to come over to width and type in 1.5 and press enter. We're going to close the property sheet. I'm going to click the last name field. And we're going to come up to the Home tab and click where it says Ascending. And let's come up here, select the title. I'm going to find text formatting, which is here. We're going to change the font size to 14. And we're going to save. And the report name should be, I'm going to add the word report to the end of this. And click OK. We're going to go to File, Print Preview, and you should see that it is, of course, 2 pages. We're going to close that, and we're going to come down where it says page 101 over here, and we're going to click delete. I'm going to come up to File, Print Preview, and now there's just the 1 page. Oh no. Click 1 page. Yes, you see. And we're going to close the print preview. Right click any of the tab objects and click close all. We're going to say yes, and it automatically saves all of them. We're going to open up the navigation pane, and you can see now that you have all these forms. You should have the main title for all this should be 1A Advertising. You should have 1A Students, 1A Faculty Advisors, 1A All Students Query. Let me slide this out so you can just see a little bit better. You should have 1A Student Form and 1A Advisors Report. And this includes Access Chapter 1, Project A,